From what I remember, the hype surrounding the 2020 NFL Draft was all centered around three guys: Joe Burrow, Chase Young, and Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, all those guys I just mentioned were at least Heisman finalists in college. As we know, Joe Burrow ended up winning the Heisman and the national championship. Tua as well had a national championship, and Chase Young was one of the most dominant defensive players college football has ever seen. There's no doubt that these guys would by far have the most eyes on them heading into their rookie seasons, and deservedly so. The guy who wasn't talked about as much was a guy who was 6'6" with a big arm, a guy with most of the intangibles you would want in a quarterback, a guy who was widely considered to be the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft as a junior. That guy, Justin Herbert, was somewhat of a forgotten factor leading up to the 2020 NFL Draft. And before we get into Justin Herbert and his journey to the NFL and why I believe he's a future MVP, I would like to say, wow, the Pittsburgh Steelers video I dropped recently has recently blown up for me, and I just want to thank each and every one of you guys. I think I replied to mostly every comment I saw in the video, and there's a bunch of interaction going on in the comment section, and if y'all could please try to do the same in this video, that would be awesome. Also, FYI, I am not a Steelers fan, I'm a Cam Newton fan. But make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, it really does help me out. Now on to Justin Herbert. After Justin Herbert's junior year at Oregon, he had just recorded by far his best season for the Ducks, as he played in all 13 games and threw for a little over 3,000 yards, 29 touchdowns to go along with 8 interceptions and a 59% completion percentage. He was in a lot of people's eyes the best prospect to come out in 2019, better than Kyler Murray, better than Nick Bosa, better than Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins. But surprisingly, Justin had decided to return for his senior season at Oregon, as he felt he had unfinished business with the hopes that his Oregon Ducks would be a college football playoff contender. Many people around the NFL felt as if Justin made the wrong decision by returning to school, considering the fact that he was more than likely going to be a top 10 pick, also considering that the 2020 draft class was way more loaded at a quarterback position than the 2019 draft. Fast forward to the end of the 2019 college football season, Justin Herbert finished with 3,471 yards, 32 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions, while improving his completion percentage from 59% up to 67%. So coming back for school was definitely a good decision by Justin, but he was widely looked at as the third best quarterback in the 2020 NFL Draft. Scouts still thought that Justin Herbert still had holes in his game. Justin still had problems being inconsistent with his accuracy, even though he had vastly improved his completion percentage from the year before. All that aside, he still had the prototypical body NFL scouts drool over when it comes to quarterbacks, as well as arm strength. The Los Angeles Chargers decided to draft Justin with the 6th overall pick after longtime franchise quarterback Philip Rivers had signed a deal with the Indianapolis Colts. Philip leaving meant that it was time for the Chargers to find another franchise caliber quarterback. And we can all agree that Tyrod Taylor isn't a bad quarterback, but he isn't a franchise caliber quarterback either. Approaching closer to the 2020 NFL season, it was looking like the Chargers would not make Justin Herbert a starter right away, as Tyrod Taylor got the nod by coach Anthony Lynn. When asked why he made that decision, Lynn responded with, "Tyrod Taylor is our starter right now. Until someone steps up and shows that they can run this team, that's how we are going into it." And as soon as I saw this quote, the first thing that popped in my head was the fact that Justin Herbert was not viewed as an outgoing, vocal, fired up guy at all, as he was described by his Oregon teammates as serious, reserved, and had a quiet demeanor. And as we all know, the quarterback position requires you to be more vocal, outgoing, and demanding than any other position on the field, and that was one concern I had for Justin. Tyrod Taylor got the start in week 1, where the Chargers put up a mere 16 points against the horrible Bengals and needed a last-second field goal to win that game. Tyrod had barely completed over 50% of his passes and had barely thrown for over 200 yards. However, Tyrod was still looked at as the definitive starter. In a weird sequence of events on September 20th, when the Chargers were just about to kick off in the game versus Patrick Mahomes and the reigning Super Bowl champs Kansas City Chiefs, Tyrod was not out on the sidelines for LA, as it was later reported that he had cracked ribs through pregame warmups. How does that happen? I don't know, don't ask me. Therefore, Tyrod went to the locker room to try to get a painkiller injection to relieve the pain, and his team physicians accidentally punctured his lung in a freak accident, which meant rookie Justin Herbert was named starter seconds before kickoff versus the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs in town. The Chargers did surprise a lot of people, only losing to the Chiefs by 3 in overtime, as Justin Herbert completed 67% of his passes and threw for 311 yards to go along with 1 interception. Justin, in a lot of portions of that game, looked like a veteran quarterback, as he knew exactly where to throw the ball out as he got the ball out timely. And give credit to Anthony Lynn and the whole coaching staff, because they made it easier for Justin Herbert to throw the ball out there, but but this guy has talent written all over him. Obviously, he is a rookie, so he did have an interception, he took some unnecessary sacks, and missed some throws, especially easy throws. Justin tends to miss throws out onto the flat way too often, and I would like to see that cleaned up. On the bright side, he does top a list alongside Russell Wilson as quarterbacks who have thrown for the most touchdowns over 20 yards downfield, with 8. Moving along now, Justin Herbert has been absolutely taking the league by storm and is a leading candidate for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He outplayed future Hall of Famer Drew Brees on Monday Night Football, even though the Chargers lost in overtime once again, as he threw for 264 yards and 4 touchdowns with no interceptions, and those 4 touchdowns was the most thrown by a rookie in their Monday Night Football debut. He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady, who is still elite by the way, but unfortunately the Chargers lost another close game. So in 3 losses versus Super Bowl contenders, the Chiefs, Buccaneers, and Saints, the Chargers were up at least 11 points on all 3 of these teams, including being up 17 against the Buccaneers and the Saints. Justin Herbert has played just as good or even better than his counterparts in those games, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees. So what is this saying? I think it says that if Herbert had more experience coupled with an even better team, the Chargers would definitely be playoff contenders at this point in time instead of holding a 2-4 record. Against the Jags, Herbert turned up the heat once again as the Chargers scored a season-high 39 points while Justin threw for 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 total touchdowns if you include his rushing touchdown for the day, which by the way, his athletic ability has come to be very underrated at this point. With this great stretch of games, Justin Herbert is just one of 2 rookie quarterbacks in NFL history to throw 3 or more touchdown passes in 3 consecutive games. The other name on that list, Deshaun Watson. Justin has also proved to be the best quarterback on 3rd down in the league this season as he boasts a 150.9 passer rating on 3rd down as a rookie. He completes 74% of his passes and thrown 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions on 3rd down, and those numbers are absolutely remarkable. Now, not to rain on the stats parade, but the Chargers are not playoff contenders in 2020, we all know that, but LA does have some great pieces to grow with moving forward. The Chargers have fielded one of the best defenses in the league over the past couple years with a pretty talented secondary that is exciting to watch. The problem is that the defense, and the offense for this matter, but especially the defense, cannot put together a full game. They're one of the best overall teams in the first half, but in the second half, they look like one of the worst teams in the league. I believe that the talent on this roster is helping out a ton, as in many occasions, rookie quarterbacks are not surrounded by good elite talent like Justin Herbert is with the Chargers. Guys like Joey Bosa, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry, Kaiser White, Melvin Ingram, Desmond King, and Casey Hayward are guys that many rookies would love to have on their team, as Justin does. Hopefully the Chargers organization continues to surround Justin with the right pieces, and hopefully to help Justin develop and reach a level that I and many others believe he can reach. We don't want to see second-year regression by Justin like we saw with guys like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Justin is already one of the best deep ball throwers in the league, as we have no question about his arm strength. Accuracy has not been much of a problem for Justin so far, but he does tend to miss guys on out routes more often than you might like. With what I've seen so far, it is clear to me that Justin Herbert will be a future MVP in this league. Mark my words. If the Chargers can surround him with the right pieces in the coming years, as well as make sure he develops over the coming years, I can very well see a Super Bowl ring in his future. But I won't get too ahead of myself there. With that being said, let me know how good you think Justin Herbert will be. Where does he rank among the top quarterbacks in the league already? Comment that down below. And once again, I want to thank all of y'all for the support as we're finally picking up some steam. So let's keep this momentum going. With that being said, this is Jimmy from Just the Facts, and I'm signing out. Peace.